Welcome to this episode of Clearing the Creative. I had a wonderful conversation with Mary, and I think it's definitely going to resonate with a lot of people. I know I say this in every episode, but it happens that way, that I connect with people that have very universal questions and blocks in their creative path. And something that she has in her brain is that she wants to do everything. She has so many passions, so much wisdom to share. And we talked a lot about that. We talked about insecurity, coping strategies. We talked about the things that she's passionate about, and mindful eating, and making art accessible. And there's a story that she shared after we finished recording that I want to share with you at the end of this episode, because it'll mean more then. And I hope that you will stick around for that. Hello, Mary! Welcome to Clearing the Creative. I'm so happy to have you here.
Well, thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, right before we hit record, I was just saying that it takes bravery to come and to not know what's going to happen, but to just say, like, I have a block, and I want to figure out a way through it. So would you like to just jump straight into what your passion is and what's blocking you from that?
Well, gosh, I think there's actually several things. Um, I tend to want to do everything. And then it's like, okay, now dabble in this, dabble in that. Now what do I do? So I have a couple of projects. Um, One being writing. I've got two like writing projects in the works that are kind of more self-help type of things. And then honestly too, kind of another either podcast or kind of a vlog type thing that I've started dabbling in, and just kind of jumping into what's keeping me from actually doing it.
Mm. So the vlog and podcast obviously catches my attention, because I don't know if you know this about me, but I have both. I have a vlog that I've been pouring my heart into for 5-ish years, sharing the happy memories and poetry and art and just the sparkly bits of life and some of the challenges too. What kind of vlog stuff have you dabbled in?
Um, the one that I've done, it was doing like a mindful walk in one of my favorite nature preserves in the town that I live in. And so just did a mindful walk. So it was a little introduction of kind of what was going on, and more just letting the viewer experience I guess, walking in trees, in a sense, tree bathing. Um, for, while I was doing that for probably maybe 10 minutes of that.
And how
Oh, go ahead.
I was just wondering how you found that process of the recording and the editing and uploading.
Part of it, okay, so I use my phone, and I have this nifty little device that I carry. So it's not like if I'm walking and spanning across everything.
Gimbal.
Yeah. Yes, that's exact. Yes, that's what it is. And then so I just did it that way, and then showed my husband, and he says, you know what, that's actually really good. This is the way it is. So I didn't do any editing
Oh, nice.
on that one. Um, Now, the last time I tried it, I was at a family reunion in a small town in Iowa, a few hours from where I live, and it was just the cutest little town. And I wanted to kind of showcase some of the alleys had murals painted on the buildings, and just a couple of the art sculptures in the town square. But for some reason, it didn't. I didn't like it, or part of it
Mm.
didn't record. I thought I was doing like a selfie mode to get the introduction and then switch it out, and then it didn't do anything. So it was like, oh well. And so that was the last time I tried anything.
Okay. Was it so it was the technical difficulties that just kind of turned you off to it?
Um, I think that was part of it, was the technical, and then just finding I know part of it is like what I find fascinating and what I find of interest and is what I want to do out there. But maybe, I wonder if probably some of the block isn't, well, what if people don't like it?
Yeah. I have a story. There was a lady who did this awesome video. It was so freaking interesting about um, showing this really unique house and showing what was interesting about the architecture, just drawing attention to the details of it. And she just, I think she took the video down or just was like, "Oh, this is boring. Nobody cares about this." And I was like, "I don't give a rip about um design, but you made me care about it because you showed me what was interesting." Like, it's whatever we think, whenever we hear that niggling voice of this is probably boring to someone else, that's just that call back to safety of the known. And it's just like protection. And it's like, okay, thank you for protecting me. I don't need your protection right now, so you are released from coordination. And to just really believe that the people who watch it will watch it because they want to.
That's very true. I think that idea that um, a review may come back that isn't favorable, or people can be mean these days, and it's like, I know with something like that, I have the capability of, deleting comments as I see fit. But still, I think there's that part of maybe insecurity or whatever you want to call it, that, or the need to be liked.
Mm. Oh boy, I was just feeling that in my own body. That concept of like exactly that. What if that people don't like it? And it's funny how anytime that I've reached beyond my scope, because I've built a really lovely community online, people that are so supportive and encouraging, but anytime I go beyond that safety net and my videos reach a bit further out, very mean people come through, and it's like, well, how important is their opinion? Do if I saw them on the street and they said that, how much would that mean? It's like it really doesn't mean anything. That's just they just saw a glimpse of my life and then they just made a observation and a judgment about it. But how much does that affect me? Like, not at all.
Very true. And are they a person that you would go to for advice in general?
Yeah, so true. So I'd like to hear more about your writing project, your self-help.
Well, I'm um, a licensed mental health therapist, and so I have lots of people come through my office that do not effectively express emotions or push them away, or don't have the coping strategies for when big emotions take over. And so
Mm,
that's part of what was, and it's kind of, working on my own journey too, or what works for me. So looking at the scope of emotions, of they're a part of us. And we look at emotions are not good, they're not bad, they're not positive, they're not negative. They are. They are who we are. And it's what we do with them that makes the difference.
mm,
And so working on kind of the how processing your own emotions, and then what do you do with it? Or is just acknowledging to yourself that that's how you're feeling enough to say, oh, okay, that's how I'm feeling, and that's it. So working on a book about, or I don't even, a book, a blog, or I don't know what it's going to end up being because it's been sitting for a while. And then the other one is a mindful eating strategy to kind of help so you don't sit with that bag of Reese's miniatures next to you and realize the bag is gone and you don't remember tasting them.
Ooh, yeah. It's because you have seen how much that affects people so much firsthand. So you have a passion to just put more put more goodness out there and more resources out there for them. Does that
Yeah.
feel very compartmentalized to you to have the vlog or the book, the blog or book, the writing is for this, the vlog is for this,
Not
the
necessarily,
podcast is for this?
not necessarily.
Because you couldn't so incorporate this into mindful walks.
Very true.
Absolutely. Like I think that sometimes even being your licensed practitioner, like you have the credentials, but I think even licensed or unlicensed, there can still be this feeling of, but I don't want to come across as the preachy expert. Does that resonate at all with you?
A little bit, yeah. And there's a lot of debate going on. I think especially since TikTok has really taken off of the well, I saw this intervention on TikTok. And it's like, well, where's it coming from? And
Oh, like yeah, like do you what credentials do you have to say that kind of thing?
a little bit of that, and just a little bit of like, well, people shouldn't be getting all their information on social media.
Right. But the truth is that they will. So
Yes,
the more goodness and truth and coping mechanisms and positive things that you put out there, the better, because you're still making a difference to whoever sees that.
very true. Very true. And I realized as that was coming out of my mouth too, maybe it was a little bit judgmental.
Yeah. It's interesting when we hear that, like, oh, is that what I really feel? I didn't realize that was lurking around in there. So that mindful walk in the garden, did you did you share your thoughts as you walked? Did you share about mental health and things like that?
No, it was just using that as a way to kind of get out of your head, I guess, so to speak, of, when you're out for a walk and you need to clear your head.
So it was kind
Nature,
of meditative.
yes, more meditative than anything.
Okay. Yeah. And you felt good about that video?
Yes, yeah,
Did you
especially
get some comments and response about it?
I did. It was a while back, so I have to look and refresh my memory, but I put it on my counseling page, and I think I did it as a reel, and it got some views, and I think it actually elicited some more followers on that page too.
Hmm. Did you get a feeling of this was cool? I want to do more of this.
I did, and then our town is where I live is a really it's a big small town, if that makes sense. Um, and they're very much into creative aspects, both music wise and art. And so all around the downtown, there's like a sculpture walk. And I've started doing that a little bit, but haven't, when I would have to go back and edit because there was a part where I kind of tripped in a hole.
I would. Are you kidding me? That is golden.
Although I probably would keep it because I think I commented on it, but I don't think I posted that one, but it's there, and it's, it was just a
I,
small group of the statues and rambling on about them.
I love to see people be people, like there's we're not we can still be professional and be people and show the cat going across the screen and the fault tripping and the tripping and the silliness and the genuine reactions because that shows others that we're real people that they can relate to. And yeah, I'm like, oh, please don't edit out the trips. Have fun with it. I love editing the moments where people are just having a genuine moment because that's my work is editing videos. Yeah.
Well, I will keep that in mind because Grace is not my middle name.
It's kind of funny. My nickname as a kid, one of my nicknames as a kid was "Good Going Grace" for biffing it. So, did I understand correctly that I got this sense that you're saying it's such a creative town? Does that make it feel like, oh, well, my stuff doesn't really fit in with the other kind of creative options out there? Okay, okay.
No,
Just
no, I
checking.
don't.
So, what kind of podcast are you interested in doing?
Kind of dabbled a little bit with along both the mental health and like the meditation, mindfulness kinds of things. Acquaintances and good friends that are in the field as well, who I would, we could bring in and with different topics related to, you know, you name it under the mental health umbrella.
Are you working full time in your as a therapist?
I am, yes.
Okay. So
So that's
you're
what there's that other thing of fitting everything in.
yeah, because I'm thinking how much time logistically do you have to be able to commit to something? Like if you were to have 4 hours just carved out for you, what would you and it's you're not allowed to cook or clean or whatever. But you had 4 hours just like you're gonna get to do one of these projects that we talked about. What's the first one that comes to mind that you're like, that's the one I want to
Um,
give that 4 hours to? Maybe like spread out over the week, not just in one day.
probably I'm doing more with the
The
videotape.
video, is it the
Uh,
creative aspect of just like letting people experience the beauty of what you're seeing with you?
I think so. I think at this point that's kind of where I'm seeing it. And even
Hmm.
so some of the and I haven't done this, but it was um brought to my attention. It might be a good thing that going back to that, I want to try everything. And so we have a absolutely wonderful art museum here that offers classes. And even at some point in time, doing doing one of the videos of what it's like to take a class or that part of a creative process too, after you've taken a class and now you're trying to do that creative so looking at creativity in various ways is
Yeah,
probably more of the theme for it.
because
Creativity
art,
when you're doing a walk, creativity when you're
yeah, because art is such a tool for managing mental health to be able to have expression and release through it.
yes, very much so.
Yeah.
And our I Insight Timer colleague Siri is a really good resource for that part too.
Yeah. Does this resonate with you that you want to make art and beauty accessible to people who find your content?
Yeah, yeah. That actually expresses it very well because I think kind of based on feedback that I get from friends, clients, whatever, it's there's that, well, I'm not creative.
Mhm.
I'm not artistic. I can't do that. Um, but it's different with everybody, and your creativity is going to be different than the person sitting next to you. And how do you tap into yourself? And in the big picture, it's only what you think of it and how it makes you feel that matters.
Yeah. So I want to challenge you um to carve out time where you practice with your gimbal so that it's smooth when you're ready for it. And what you can do is you can make some video that you don't even do anything with. It's just practice. It's just building confidence. If that's something, if you feel a little bit awkward and shy talking to yourself in the front of the camera, but to do a day in the life video of just showing beautiful parts of your life, you know, showing your favorite coffee cup, showing your pets if you have them, showing your garden, showing what's beautiful and what lights you up. Because there's something like where you are is exotic and exciting and fascinating to somebody out there.
Very true.
And so as you get used to that, you just know your equipment. And I'll tell you something, I've been vlogging for years. I use my phone because it's easy and I have it. Like there's no shame in that. The cameras on
Oh,
these things are amazing.
they've seriously, they are.
Yeah, I'm filming in 4K, like very high quality. So when you carve out that time, you you kind of need to just ask yourself, am I going to do this or not? Like you like this is the day I'm going to do this. And you're going to carve this time, you're going to make it sacred, you know? I am going to after I eat lunch, I'm going to take my phone and I'm going to do this. And you just make a contract with yourself. And a really important thing to bear in mind while you're recording is don't edit it as you go in your mind. Like, oh, that was dumb. Oh, because you start to hear every word that comes out of your mouth, but just trust like you're speaking from your heart, you're speaking out of love, and it's worth it.
I am good at stopping and starting and stopping and starting again.
Yeah. But think of it more like you're talking to the your best friend, the person that is just really like they really respect you and they really know that nuggets of wisdom come out of your mouth and they want to catch it, you know, and trust that those things that are coming out right the first time instead of like, oh, that's not what I meant to say, or I could have possibly phrased it better this way, you know, just let it flow like you're talking to a person because you are. It's like really annoying when people on making videos are like, "Hey everybody!" Like, don't talk to everybody. Talk to the one person. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me today.
I like that.
So how committed are you to carving out time to really taking that action?
I'm pretty committed. Carving out time for this kind of thing can happen during, it can happen during the day. Some days I don't have a full back-to-back days and I can get out and wander around or pull up my writing tools. But Fridays is also a really good day for that.
So practically, and also just following the nudges of your heart when you've gone for a beautiful walk and you've got this really strong thought in your head that's just been rotating around in there. That's this like this is a thing that I see people doing and it breaks my heart and I've seen them come out of this into this and it's so beautiful to see that, you know, when you have those moments, those thoughts coming through strong, record right then. You don't have to worry about making it beautiful or showing anything. Just catch it while it's hot, and then you can layer in other things later. And another practical thing that you can do is you can kind of make a list of the different kinds of topics that are just really prevalent in your head. And then when you carve out that time to record, you can be like, okay, I'm going to water my plants and I'm going to tidy up my living room and I'm going to talk about this subject.
That makes sense. That's good. It makes it real.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's so boring. As an editor, man, it's so boring to edit people sitting and talking. Like, I can zoom in when when something interesting happens, and but like sometimes it's just this and there's only so far to zoom in, like okay, I can get this much of their face. I For the people listening, I just kind of grabbed my face from my eyebrow to above my chin. Like that's kind of a boring option. So actually catching action is a lot more fun visually. Another option, of course, is if you really want to have your thoughts collected, you want to kind of be more scripted because you really want to be sure to say things exactly the way that you want to say them, then you can sit and talk. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. You can also get B-roll. Are you familiar with the concept of B-roll?
No.
B-roll is the footage that can go over the person. So it's kind of like the talking becomes voiceover, and you can have B-roll of yourself. If you want to be like kind of get into acting, if you're talking about a person just sitting on the couch with a bag of candy next to them, you could record yourself with a bag of candy next to you and like zoning out eating it. Like you can act out the bits that you're talking about and kind of plan the video that way if you really want to plan things out. What kind of style are you? Are you a planner or are you just as in the moment kind of person?
It tends to be in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that comes from, I think, doing a course once, and I was on meditation, and part of the feedback was, well, it sounds like you were reading that. I'm like, well, that's not what we want. So I tend to just kind of, when the idea comes, go with it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's more genuine than stopping and starting a bunch of times and feeling like it has to be worded perfectly because it's like also in the spiritual realm that we find ourselves in Insight Timer is that it's not just what you say but how you say it and the way that I don't know I don't know how to I think I'm talking random I think I'm rambling now but there's something about the resonance of what you're saying. Does that make sense?
It does. Your tone and just your inflections.
Yeah. It's carrying more of the meaning than the actual words sometimes.
It does. It does. And then, even being comfortable with silence.
Yes. Oh, that's a good one. Because sometimes the silence is where the change, the clickovers happen. When an actor's on stage, and because I was an actor for a lot of years with the theater company, and you're alone on stage, but you can't just go from in the moment of the performing, you can't just go from I'm so sad, I'm gonna kill him, like there's a click over that happens of the sadness leading to remembering the anger, leading to the decision, leading to the explosion, and to
Mhm.
show the real time things happening without sound, that can be really powerful. It can really draw people in, like, what's going to happen next?
Very much, yes. And I think we tend to not be comfortable with the silence because, for many reasons, like our brains can just kind of start going a million miles a minute. And so it's like, if it's easier to talk, then let that happen. Or it's uncomfortable because you're not used to it. But there is that processing time that happens. And it's also, when you're in a situation and you've asked a question, it's very respectful to wait for the answer than trying to jump in or hurrying up the process.
Mm, yeah. So, do you think there's anything beyond the I'm afraid people won't like it? That's a block between you and making videos.
I think that, the underlying aspect I think that a lot of people have is everybody should like me, or that I don't want somebody to not like me, which is ridiculous. And there's a great meme going on, like it keeps popping up that says you may not be everybody's cup of tea, but you're a great cup of coffee. And
Yeah.
it's like it's true. So if it's not something that resonates with somebody, they don't have to watch it.
It's kind of like you aren't meant to be the therapist for everybody on the planet. You probably have a pretty good idea of who are the best people that you can work with because you understand each other and
Yeah, that's very true. It's just like, and you're not going to be friends with everybody. You're never,
mm-hmm.
you're not going to want to hang out with everybody, or want certain people to hang out with you. But and that's just and that's it's okay. But I think it's hard to get over that hump of somebody not finding you fascinating.
Yeah. So what would you say to a client that was saying exactly what you're saying?
Kind of kind of what we've just been talking about
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
You're unique in yourself. Not everybody gets not everybody gets you when you're that or whatever your personality. It's not going to resonate with everybody, and it's not going to be reciprocal either. And so finding how you're comfortable in your own skin,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to stand up for yourself and find your voice, um, and be okay with who you are, and know that the people that you're supposed to be around will find you.
Yeah. Are you hearing yourself?
Yes.
Sometimes
Oh,
it's interesting how we really have to hear things out of our own voices for it to really resonate where it's meant to.
that's true. Yes.
So, what action are you excited to take towards
Um,
this goal?
oh gosh. I've taken some notes.
Oh, awesome.
I like the idea of the day in the life and doing that. And then also what was you said, like in the very beginning, of how to incorporate like the writing, and if it's a video or however that works out, incorporating those together. Because then, I mean, realistically, if that happens and it moves towards like publishing, it's like, here's the video that goes with it too, or this is how it was inspired, or where does it come from, and you want more information, you want to learn more, here's the book type of thing.
Yeah, it all loops back around and it's all connected and it's that's great. I love that. Yeah. And like when you if you decide to do some videos like I really wanted to get this out exactly the way I wrote it down because it's this when I wrote this, it resonated so deeply with me and I want to read it to you, do it that way. And then you have that, and that can be a blog, and that can be a chapter in the book or inspiration for a chapter of the book.
Very much so. Yes.
Yeah.
I like being reminded of being true to yourself and finding your own voice.
Because your voice is exactly what somebody out there needs. Like a lady that I worked with for a few years, we had an awesome working relationship, and now we're friends. And she was she's a middle-aged lady in the vlogging world. She was like, I don't resonate with these 20 something guys on their one wheel. What's up, everybody? She wanted there's people out there that want more chill. Like they want more people that are in their age gap that they can that they have a rapport with.
Very much. My son is an influencer, and I don't know what his official title, or what his he does YouTube, and I think he does some TikTok, he does TikTok too, and a little bit of Instagram, but he's considered like the sword guy, the expert on sword.
Oh,
And then he also does, how realistic are the weapons in video games? How realistic are they in today's society? He's created his own little niche that way, and has quite a following.
that's so cool.
It is. And so
Did he
he's an inspiration too, because he's kind of like, this is who he is, and he's not afraid to be himself.
That is so cool. I was just about to ask. So, did he inspire you to want to make videos?
Yes, he did.
Oh, that's so cool. Do you do you feel like you got some good stuff in this time?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Um, I do. And I think being reminded of not being afraid and just doing it and taking chances is important.
And practice with that gimbal. Know your equipment so that it's not an issue. And like at Walmart, whatever, you can get, where is it, like $20 or something like that. You can get something like this. You just you get a little thing to that the phone can sit in. You can set this on your kitchen counter. You can put it, and if before you get one of these, you can stack up board games and cans of beans, and you can just set your phone against it, and you can make a space anywhere.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you know that you can get things tripod? That's what it's called. You can get tripods that can even like wrap around things.
Oh, neat. Oh,
So they
that's
can,
cool.
so it can like go around like
That makes
yeah.
it.
I've wrapped this thing around tree limbs and around um playground equipment and I've done so much fun stuff. I
That
even
is.
put a tripod in my shirt, in my cleavage, and like got some footage of the sky while swinging in the swing.
Oh, neat. Oh, wow.
Just letting yourself play with how can I capture beauty? How can I capture something fun? I had a strainer in a drawer and I put my phone in the drawer under the strainer so when I opened the door you could like see me through the strainer. Like
Tapping into the inner child and letting the inner child come out and play.
exactly. It's been so fun to talk with you, and I'm really excited to see what you do, to see the action that you take, and to see and to hear about the impact that has on the people that are watching it, that are connected to you. So I hope we will be in touch about that.
I will definitely share with you.
Yay! Do you have any thoughts or questions or anything you'd like to share before we close?
Um, Only thank you so much for letting me think things out loud and tapping into things that I said that can be turned into what I need to do.
Oh, you are so welcome. So the way that I end my conversations is I give hugs.
Oh,
Hugs. I'm just so excited to see people step out in their creative expression and in making their corner of the internet sparkle with their personality and their wisdom so that it can reach the people that it's meant to reach. I'm excited to see for the vlogs that she will do, to see how she will put herself out there. It's such a journey to let our inner child come out and play and just shine. And I do have an announcement about a website that you can reach me and it can make the process of connecting about what I do and how I can support you accessible and professional. And I'm very, very excited for my friend Jared that has helped me in putting this together. Yes, the story that I wanted to share about this whole creative process. She shared about a time that she made these beads out of clay, and the person that taught her how to make them asked if she could buy them. And Mary said, "Why? They're not that good." Or maybe she didn't say that. I could be messing up the story. Bear with. But the teacher said that the first attempt has a real innocence to it, and there's a beauty in that innocence. I actually wrote that down so I wouldn't mess up that part of the story. But yeah, there is how that connects to this. There's an innocence and there is a beauty in our first attempts in putting ourselves out there in our first videos. I'm also a vlogger, and I look back on my very first videos that I did in December 2018, and I'm not ashamed of them. I'm proud to see how far I've come. And I'm proud of that person that stepped out and just tried to do a new thing. So, I would love to connect with you, see how I can support you in your journey, invite you on to be a guest, and talk about your struggles and see how I can be a part of your story. So thank you so much for being here, checking out my new website. I'm so excited. Thank you. Hugs.